Philippines is rich in traditional folk music and ethnic songs, but also along with that, it also has a rich abundance of traditional games that mark in the heart of the 90s kids. Traditional Filipino games or indigenous games in the Philippines are games commonly played by children, usually using native materials or instruments. In the Philippines, due to the limited resources of toys for Filipino children, they usually invented games without the need of anything but the players themselves. Their game's complexity arises from their flexibility to think and act. Since many of the Filipino could not afford to buy toys, they invented these games without the need of anything expensive but the players themselves or with just the available resources. These traditional games can be played outdoor or indoor. You can feel the excitement and thrill once you start to play the games.
Traditional games are means to convey values of solidarity, diversity, fair play, inclusion, and cultural awareness. They also contribute a logical thinking, mathematical, and civic education. Preserving the information and knowledge about traditional game is important for the generations to come. Traditional games are seen as the best platform for promoting peace, harmony, goodwill, and camaraderie in various Philippines communities, especially that today's generation is different. Most kids are stuck on their iPhones, iPads, PSEPs while sitting on a corner. Playing traditional games will help children to think for themselves, learn cooperation, teamwork, skills, work and strategies, tactics, and learn how to hold conversation with adults. Games are a fun way of getting child to learn without even realizing it.
Among all the traditional games, sack race is one of the most popular traditional games in the Philippines. The sack race is a competitive game in which participants place both of their legs inside a sack that reaches the waist and hop forward from the starting point toward the finish line. The first person to cross the line is the winner of this race. Sack racing is a classic and really old party game that is still popular to this day because of its simplicity to play, only requiring physical effort to win.
Sack racing is a classic and old party game that is still played and popular this day because its simplicity to play, only requiring physical effort to win. Filipinos usually came up on inventing games due to lack of toys. In the 1960s, family bond became more stronger and secure with these games. Sack racing was born in the year 1967 and was invented by very poor parents of a young farm boy since they couldn't afford any expensive equipment for games on the poor boy's birthday. They emptied potato sacks because they noticed that movement was impaired in the sack and required a tremendous amount of leg power, making the game a unique challenge. They decided to make it a racing game, and the popularity spread through the Midwest. Sack race, or called Karera ng Sako by the Filipinos, is traditionally seen as an activity for children, but people of any age can compete.
The game remained as a bigger part amusing device and was played for fun and recreation until Billy Bob Berry Plucker was born, the boy who always won the potato sack races. Many people saw a potential to this boy, but unfortunately, the game was not considered as a sport back then, due to which he couldn't compete. Sadly, he got too old to play this race when it came into consideration, so he opened a facility to start training for this game. Luckily, the sport gained so much interest that led him to more professional facility, compete with a locker room, a better regulated racing field, and better sacks for racing. The game is contested in various regions throughout the country, both in major cities and in remote villages. History, traditional games, racing sacks, demand was of all ages, young and old, be it male or female, and also from various economic backgrounds, rich or poor. Finally, the game is known to the public at large, not just the children alone. Even the adults love the games. Traditional sack race.
The popularity of sack race motivates kids to play the game because of the increasing players of this game. Teams were starting to form leagues were created to play this new interesting sport. These races eventually became a high school sport and soon became a college sport. Finally, the game became an international traditional game and became an Olympic event. Today, sack race is practiced by all age of groups.
In a nutshell, the extraordinary enthusiasm of people shows that the game is never timeless and still prevails today. Public enthusiasm for the game is not diminished at all. Anyone, wherever, whenever they see the sack race, will undoubtedly be entertained and interested. Sack race is very pleasant and undoubtedly invite laughter to the people. The team members rush to fall also create such funny movements. Playing in the relay is also useful for establishing collaboration and cohesiveness among team members. Therefore, sack race game is sometimes also used for training of teamwork in the game outbound.
This is not just a game for fun, but more than that, there are many uses that can be obtained. Among other things such as the value of hard work to sportsmanship, which is formed when each person in each team should be gracefully accept any outcome of the game. Because basically, this is the game for an increased familiarity, not really serious competition. So despite losing the game, teaches each person to be tolerant. This game teaches the value of cooperation, collaboration, and creates togetherness, as this is a game of cross-border gender, age, race, and background. All people can rejoice in this game without partiality. No isolation, no barrier, no hierarchy in this game traditional Greece. All together celebrating excitement. This one kind of game fosters sense of solidarity and congeniality.
Number 1. Group the participants into 2 to 3 groups with the same number of participants. To have a fair game on both teams and to avoid conflict because of unequal members of participants. 2. Have the group from the line and must be at the 2 to 3 meters distance from each group. The team should have a line to be organized and should have a far distance to avoid being mixed up to other teams. 3. Put the chair or ask someone to stand at least 10 meters away in front of each group from the starting line. This serves as the participant point of reference during the game to avoid going farther or near. 4. Give each group a bigger sack and lay them on the starting line. A bigger sack is more comfortable and any physical size can fit inside the sack. 5. Let the participants get ready for the go signal. For the participants to be attentive and hear the signal of starting of the game.
Number 6. Once the go signal is given, the first participant will enter inside the sack with both feet while both hands hold the sack up to the waist. Players are instructed to use their both hands to hold the sack close to the waist as possible to prevent the sack from falling below the knee. Next, after entering the sack, participants will quickly hop towards the reference point. Once the player's legs are inside the sack, he or she has to hop all the way to the reference point. Take note, you should maintain your balance throughout the hopping so you don't trip. Number 8. After reaching the reference point, the participant will go around the chair or the person serving as a reference point and go back to the starting line. Every player has to go around the point of reference because if he or she doesn't, the whole team will be disqualified or she has to go back from the starting line and begin hopping again. Next, after the participant reaches the starting line, he or she will get out of the sack and give it to the next participant and follow the same procedure. After the player reaches the starting point of the line, he or she will pass over the sack to the next person in line in order for him or her to repeat the same process over again. And lastly, the first group who finishes ahead of others will be declared as the winner. As the team had shown how strong their legs to hop and how quick they move to easily finish every member in the team, they deserve to be acknowledged as a winner of the game.